Well, welcome to Lookupweekend. Thank you very much for choosing the broadcast tonight. So much is going on in the country, including the situation as far as food insecurity or food security is concerned. A number of counties, as far as reports are concerned, about 10 counties are now facing serious drought. We're looking at livestock dying in counties like Samburu and Marsabit, and of course, these are some of the stories making headlines tonight. We'll also be looking at the political scene, and of course, we're looking forward to your feedback as we go deeper into the analysis of each of the stories making headlines at this hour. My name is Ankey Dorice. Joining us with the sign language interpretation tonight is Felicitas Adundo. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
The news headlines in association with
Tonight on Lookup TV Weekend.
Tuko na njaa mingi, watoto wetu wameangamizwa na ulikame kabisa kwa sababu hii jila imekuwa mingi kwa mwaka 3 mvua hajanyesha.
The government moves in haste to mitigate the dire hunger facing Samburu and Marsabit counties. Also tonight,
still of concern to us is that from the March bodies, the bodies that were dumped in March, there has been no traction in investigating those cases.
The Kenya National Commission of Human Rights calls for speedy identification and investigations of bodies retrieved from River Yala. Plus, the Kenya Bureau of Standards suspends 10 edible fats and cooking oil brands over quality concerns.
Yippee! Kamata plotting at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optivent's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
Once again, welcome to the broadcast. You can be part of the conversations tonight using the hashtag Lookupweekend. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on Instagram. Now, kickstarting this bulletin is the drought status, and the government is racing against time to aid regions that have been ravaged by the ongoing drought. More counties are now facing acute food insecurity as children and expectant women in Samburu and Marsabit counties are suffering from malnutrition and other hunger-related illnesses. Ankey Dorice has these details.
Watu peke yake ndio wanaishi hapa. Kila kitu ndio hiyo, hata bei ya chakula kidogo ambao unanunuliwa ndio hiyo amepanda juu zaidi. Utakuta watu ambao serikali, utakuta watu ambao anaanza kufa, ameshakufa tayari.
This is the current situation in Marsabit and Samburu counties. Carcasses lying on dry field with no vegetation in sight, the hunger biting with every breaking dawn. For residents in this region, several failed rain seasons has left the air dry and their stomachs just empty.
Naomba Mungu letee tena chakula.
Tuko na njaa mingi, watoto wetu wameangamizwa na ulikame kabisa kwa sababu hii jila imekuwa mingi kwa mwaka 3 mvua hajanyesha. Hatuna hata mali yote. Sasa tuko tu watu peke yake ndio wanaishi hapa.
The effects of the prolonged drought has caused malnutrition among children between 0 to 5 years old, pregnant mothers and also breastfeeding women.
Iko njaa mbaya sana. sana sana, hata iko hata nini amemaliza watu, ngaro amemaliza watu.
To mitigate the dire drought ravaging the northern eastern region, more than 20,000 people have benefited with food, water and school fees from the Kenya Group of Dryland Education Fund.
Sasa nashukuru hii kampuni yetu ya KDF kwa sababu wametuletea chakula kidogo ya kusaidia kidogo, yani at least tunasukuma leo kidogo kwa sababu tumepata chakula kidogo.
Since time immemorial, Karare has never had water within their location. The community suffered, women suffered, children suffered, and the elderly walking a long distance in search of water, and we are bringing this problem to an end.
Jambo la kwanza nataka kushukuru KDF kwa kazi nzuri ambayo wanafanya. Kitu ya kwanza wametujengea shule, matangi, mahali kama Sianga na wametuwekea shule kubwa, mahali ambayo watoto walikuwa wanakuja 7 kilometers to Salata Primary 1 year hatujapata mvua hapa. So the situation here is very bad.
Though happy for the food and the financial aid, the residents are now calling upon the government to put more permanent measures like the construction of dams to arrest the hunger menace. Ankey Dorice, Lookup TV.
Thank you very much, Ankey Dorice, for that particular update. But crossing over to other stories, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights now wants the national government and the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to speed up the process of identifying bodies retrieved from River Yala. The Commission has noted with concern that several months after the bodies were retrieved, the identification exercise is yet to be completed. KNCHR now warns there are high chances that affected families may not get justice if the exercise continues to slow down.
Visiting the Yala Sub-County Hospital morgue, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights Chair Roslyn Odede has lamented that there is laxity from the investigating authority to identify the bodies retrieved from River Yala in order for the affected families to bury their loved ones. This laxity, the human rights body says, will defeat the wheels of justice.
But still of concern to us is that from the March bodies, the bodies that were dumped in March, there has been no traction in investigating those cases. Issues of enforced disappearances and extrajudicial killings are very, very rife in our country. And it is sad that up to today, since the bodies were discovered, some of the bodies are still unidentified. That hampers investigations and actually slows down progress of everything.
The Commission is now calling on the government and the Directorate of Criminal Investigation to move with speed to finalize the identification process.
But we are also calling for investigations for the bodies that have been identified or the bodies that are found. And as a Commission, we are following up to ensure that justice is done and merited to the people.
As a way to put to an end an increase in alarming cases of extrajudicial killings and forced disappearance in the country, the human rights body has called on the national government to consider incorporating the international human rights law in efforts aimed at addressing the vices in order to protect citizens from such human rights violations.
As a Commission, we are also concerned that as a country, we have several cases of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. In the last month alone, we've seen quite a number of cases reported. And it is sad that as a country, we have not ratified the International Convention on persons who are victims of enforced disappearances. And we would like to call on our country to take steps to ratify that convention so that we can offer more protection to the people of Kenya in terms of enforced disappearances.
The Commission has, however, refuted claims that new bodies have been retrieved from River Yala, as widely reported in media. The Commission says their own investigation collaborates with information from DCI, which shows there are no new bodies retrieved. The recent alleged bodies, the Commission says, are part of the bodies yet to be identified. Henry Tende, Lookup TV.
Well, that is Henry Tender with the updates from the corridors of justice. We continue to follow up on that particular story on the Yala bodies. But crossing over to economy and the harsh times for Kenyans, the Kenya Bureau of Standards, KEBS, has suspended 10 edible fats and cooking oil brands over quality concerns. In their recent exercise of sampling and analyzing oils and fats manufactured by various oil refineries in the country, it has called for the removal of the brands from the supply chain. The Quality Control Board has, however, clarified that the resolution is not a ban on the brands, but a temporary suspension to protect the consumers from potentially unsafe products, safeguard economic interests of manufacturers of compliant brands. Take a look.
Consumers will have to look for alternative cooking oil products after the move by Kenya Bureau of Standards to temporarily suspend 10 edible oil and fat brands. This follows findings that the brands are non-compliant and require evaluation. The oils include Bahari Fry, Fresh Fry with garlic, Fry Mate, Golden and Pure Olive Gold, Postman, Rina, Salit, Tilly and Top Fry. In efforts to carry out its quality control and mandate, the standards body has said it detected the said brands in a sampling and analyzing exercise done in the recent month. In a letter addressing to Retail Traders Association of Kenya, the Quality Assurance Agency requested a recall of the 10 brands from the market to pave way for re-evaluation and verification by KEBS before being allowed back to the shelves. Cecilia Lubanga, Lookup TV, Nairobi.
Now back to the corridors of justice. Chief Justice Martha Koome has ordered the Court of Appeal judges to hear and determine cases within a year of their filing. Speaking in Nakuru, where she launched a Court of Appeal, Koome said the move will ensure that the backlog of cases is dealt with promptly.
Njooni, lakini tulisema we are preserving the best.
The promise we were making was merely anchored on the provisions of the Constitution that promises access to justice to our people. We were also making that promise because we were looking at the case load data and analyzing that and saying we actually need a Court of Appeal in Nakuru. Just the same way we are saying we need also a permanent bench in Eldoret. So within no time, living on these hopes and dreams, we believe shortly we'll also be launching another court in Eldoret.
I urge the inaugural permanent bench of the Court of Appeal in Nakuru, please lead the way in promoting the constitutional values of human dignity and social justice.
Well, quite a development. Let's take a look at governance. Embu County Assembly Clerk Jim Kauma has been sued for contempt of court after disobeying orders issued by the High Court stopping election of one of the candidates for the position of Speaker, pending hearing and determination of a petition challenging his candidature. The petitioner, James Gitonga Mutabi, had moved to court challenging the eligibility of former Speaker Josiah Thiriku for violating Elections Act, requiring all public servants intending to vie for elective posts to resign 6 months before elections. Take a look.
Embu County officials now have a case to answer after they were sued for contempt of court. James Gitonga Mutabi moved to court to sue the clerk, saying that they allowed Speaker Thiruku's participation in the election despite a court order barring him. Gitonga had argued that Thiriku was still an employee of the County Public Service Board, having not resigned from his position as Director of Tourism and Trade. High Court Judge Lucy Njuguna on Tuesday issued a temporary injunction ordering the clerk to stop clearance of Thiriku to contest for the seat until the petition is heard and determined. However, the clerk went on to conduct the elections of the Speaker, where Thiriku was re-elected after garnering 26 votes against his only competitor, Daniel Kamunda, who got 2 votes. The Assembly has so far denied receipt of the court orders.
We've done the inauguration. Someone has asked me about the issue of the court order. I want to confirm that no one has served us with the court order. I've confirmed with the clerk, I've confirmed with the legal director, I've confirmed with everyone here. No one has been served with the court order against anything that we've done today. Indeed, if we had received the court order, we would have abided the court with it. In case we are served with it, we shall abide by it. So the issue of the court order is neither here nor there.
Tumekuwa na kikao, tumechagua speaker wetu na deputy speaker wake, na kwa sasa ni kuanza safari ya kufanya kazi ya kuleta maendeleo kwa mwananchi wa Embu County.
In Mombasa, Aharub Katri has been declared Speaker of the County Assembly of Mombasa.
Let us not be sworn to negative politics, but let us promote, embrace, enhance, and commit to serve the public as a house.
He was sworn into office by the Mombasa County Assembly clerk at 1:30 p.m. He was elected and opposed after 9 other candidates who had shown interest in the position failed to submit their duly filed nomination papers before the deadline date. Mombasa MCS also took the oath of office.
Nitatekeleza shughuli na kazi zangu za afisi hiyo kwa uwezo wangu wote.
Agenda ya leo ilikuwa ni kuchagua spika na sisi wajumbe kuchukua kiapo cha ofisi. Tunashukuru tumemaliza kwa salama, na kama katika hotuba iliyotolewa na kiongozi wetu wa bunge hili spika, sisi kama wafanyikazi ama MCS wa Mombasa ni muhimu sasa sote tuachane na mambo ya chama na tushikane sote pamoja ili tuweze kunufaisha wakazi wa Mombasa.
Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has gazetted Thursday, September 29th as the day for the first sitting of the County Assembly. The MCS will be sworn in on September 29th. Now, the new 124 ward representatives will be sworn in and allowed to elect a speaker on the same day. Brian Amwai, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
All right, that story by Brian Amwai allows me a short breather, but let me leave you with something to think about. A food for thought says we cannot hold a torch to light another's path without brightening our own. We come back shortly. This is Look Up Weekend. We'll be right back with more stories after this break.
Yippee! Kamata ploti na 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
Hi guys, this is Wasim Noorani from Innovus Group. Innovus Group was founded in 2018 as a consulting group focused on providing services for all your business needs with offices in Mombasa and Nairobi, and with a core team of experienced staff. We are able to provide you with services in audit and assurance, tax advisory, financial and ICT consultancy. Get in touch with us for more details. Innovus Group will be at the Royal Nairobi Golf Club for the Corporate Masters Golf Tournament on 1st of October. See you all there.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Michezo na wachezaji, matukio na matokeo uwanjani. Tumejifunga kibwebwe kukuletea mbwembwe, si mazungumzo ya kusisimua. Ndiyo maana safu ya spoti ipo hapa kwa ajili yako. ZFC! Nami hapa nahodha Robert Chacha, si suisui, na kuandalia kipindi bomba cha safu ya spoti kila siku ya Jumamosi kuanzia saa 7:30 hadi 9:30 ndani ya runinga nambari 1 ya michezo Lookup TV.
Welcome back. Many thanks for choosing to stay with Lookup Weekend. Of course, remember to still use the hashtag Lookup Weekend throughout the social media platforms as you give us feedback on the bulletin and the particular stories being highlighted tonight. Now, moving on, as the country marks the International Week for the Deaf, Ubongo Kids has launched a sign language animated TV program using sign language with an aim of incorporating the children with a hearing impairment. Edwin John Mukora now reports.
It's a reprieve for deaf children and the deaf community at large after Ubongo Kids, in partnership with Akili Kids and Ekitabu, on Saturday launched a Kenyan Sign Language animated TV program. According to Kaitan Mbuya, the country's representative of Ubongo Kids, the program will educate and also entertain the children. Sentiments echoed by Akili Kids CEO Jesse Solel.
Yes, so Ubongo International, we are the creators of the content Ubongo Kids and Akili and me. So the two content is focused on kids from the age of 3 all the way to 14. So Akili and me, we focus on kids from the age of 3 to 6. Ubongo Kids focuses on kids from the age of 7 to 14. So we've been making this content for kids who can hear and see. But now this year we decided to introduce also for the kids who have hearing impaired. So this content is clearly made for them, and we've translated the whole season 5, into Kenya Sign Language, and that will be airing in most of the TV stations here in Kenya. So
Well, as a destination television channel for children and families in Kenya, it's important to us to ensure that children and families have a safe and fun, educative experience when sitting in front of television.
Lucy Mbai from the Ministry of Education has welcomed the program, saying it will include all children without excluding deaf children.
The government is really supporting these activities because all these activities are geared towards interactive learning by the community of the learners with hearing impairments.
George Auma, an executive at Ekitabu who is suffering from deafness, has explained the challenges deaf people undergo when trying to watch television.
So personally, I love watching the TV, and most of the programs are not accessible for deaf people. For example, when I sit with my family to watch TV and I want to know what is happening in that movie, which, for example, does not have captions, and it's really discouraging, and I want to know, and I know this is the same experience that deaf people face. So now for children, I know we have been doing a lot of work, and children love watching animation, but they don't enjoy it because it's not accessible. It's a big challenge because they miss a lot of what is happening. So I am trying to imagine this animation which is accessible for deaf children. I know this will be the talk of town in the next 1 year.
The program will air in several TV channels in the country. Edwin John Mokora, Look Up TV.
And I hope you marked this particular week in your own special way. All right, moving on to other stories. Councillors and other stakeholders from community-based organizations in Kilifi County have established a center to counsel men suffering from depression and other mental health illnesses. The center comes after numerous cases of suicide were reported in the region in the recent months.
The prevailing tough economic times in the country have put a strain on breadwinners in families across different counties. In Kilifi, an alarming number of suicide cases among men have been recorded in recent months. In light of this worrying trend, stakeholders, among them councillors from different community-based organizations in Kilifi, have launched a counseling center to address issues facing men. The issues among men stem from lack of jobs and frustrations at the workplace, especially among teachers and the police. According to the organizations, the tendency of men abstaining from sharing and engaging family members on the problems they are going through has contributed largely to the growing number of mental illness cases.
Haswa katika hii jenda ya wanaume, utaona hata visa venye vinaripotiwa kwa ma-TV na maredio. Sana sana ni wanaume wamejitoa vitanzi ama wameua familia yao. Kwa sababu unajua maumbile ya mwanaume unaambiwa kazana, koma, usiongee, ukiongea unaonesha weakness. So ndo unaona wao wanajifinyilia, hawana a safe space, an alternative place where they can just pour out what they are going through.
The program is set to allow men to get ways of managing their stress and addressing the core issues.
We have our mobilizers, we have our champions kule. Na hao ndio kama macho yetu. So wanapokuwa kule chini na wanaona watu wenye wako na hali kama hizi, hali za kuwa wamepata msongo wa mawazo, na iwapo halitaangaziwa kwa wakati, wanaweza kupoteza maisha yake ama maafa mabaya yanaweza tokea. So kupitia wao tuna create referral pathways. Wanaweza wanatu-link na sisi tunawalink na counselor na wanaweza kupata hiyo nasaha.
The platform, which will involve counselors drawn from different networks, will provide counseling lessons to men on family-related matters that are beyond settling within the home.
Ipo haja sisi akina baba tusivunjike moyo kwamba mbona hivi leo iko hivi. Tujikimu na tuseme siku moja ile hali itarudi kama ilivyokuwa.
Monrose Murugi, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
All right, now, a Nairobi court, of course, a Nairobi court has ordered Abdul Raham Imran Juma, that is, of course, to be extradited to the United States. Juma, a Kenyan citizen, is a wanted man in the United States over money laundering claims. And in January, the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, had filed a proceeding for his extradition to face money laundering charges, of course, conspiracy to commit wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. The court has now ruled that there is no evidence presented in court to show that he will not be accorded a fair trial in the United States, adding that the prosecution has laid down the threshold for him to be extradited to the U.S. for a fair trial.
Ms. Mwaniki for the state, in support of the application, relied on the order by the ODPP dated 30th November 2021, the warrant of arrest issued on 2nd December 2021, the extradition documents dated 12th May 2021, the affidavit deboned by Haldun Shobaki, employed as an assistant United States attorney to United States of America. 3, fair trial. 4, reciprocity. 5, the legitimacy of the U.S. legal system. 6, observance of the rule of law. 7, whether the extradition proceedings are an abuse of the court procedure. An all-embracing meaning of extradition is provided in Halsbury's Laws of England, 4th edition, volume 18, at page 74, paragraph number 201. It says, extradition is the form of surrender by one country to another based on reciprocal arrangements, partly judicial and partly administrative, of an individual accused or convicted of a serious offense committed outside the territory of the extraditing country and within the jurisdiction of the requesting country. The respondents team, led by Senior Counsel Wandugi, vigorously objected to the procedure adopted in this case as well as the legality of the requests. So it is prudent to set out the law as it is. Section 2 of Cap 76 states, in this act, unless the context otherwise requires, conviction and the convicted do not include or refer to conviction which under the law of some other country is a conviction for contumacy. But the term accused person includes a person convicted of contumacy. Extradition crime means a crime which, if committed within the jurisdiction of Kenya, could be one of the crimes described in the schedule to this act.
Now, Kakamega Water and Sanitation Company has rolled out the registration of private plumbers in an attempt to reduce illegal water connections in the region. The county's water management is also investing heavily in upgrading the water supply system to improve efficiency. This and much more from our county roundup tonight.
Water theft in Kakamega has been reported as one of the main challenges affecting the operation of Kakamega Water and Sanitation Company. The public utility provider has now rolled out the registration of private plumbers in an attempt to reduce illegal connections by ensuring that only approved plumbers are allowed to do water connection for their clients.
Plumbers, you know, they are the ones that are making connection for most of our customers. And when they make, we want to ensure that when you're like a customer engages a private plumber, he notes his number so that if we get an illegal connection, he can be able to. It's a certain plumber with this registration number.
The county's water management has also begun upgrading its pipeline by replacing the old worn-out pipes with the new high-density polythene pipes so as to reduce water loss due to occasional pipe bursts. Meanwhile, children officers in Machakos County are seeking answers as the county continues to record a high number of abandoned children. According to reports, 10 children had been rescued in a span of 3 weeks after being left unattended by their parents. Among the children rescued was a 1-year-old baby at Mumbuni area and a 6-week-old baby at Mutuni area. The abandoned children have been placed at the Machakos Rescue Center as some of their mothers are awaited to be arraigned in court next week.
The Children's Act 2022 is very fresh. So what I would urge all of us is to enforce it because it is very good. It is so good. Children should be safe. So every player around the child protection system, let them do their part.
Elsewhere, Kiambu County government has launched the Vision Impact Project, which aims at providing affordable eye health care to residents within the county. The county has received 400 million shillings in funding and a specialized equipment from interested partners to facilitate this project. The project, which is expected to run for 5 years, will train at least 3,000 community health volunteers who will go door to door offering test and treatment services.
Katika huu mpango, au community health volunteers wote watatumika sababu tutaenda manyumba zote za Kiambu County. Tumewaza kuwa train na tumetrain karibu 100, lakini wote 3,000 watatrainiwa. Hii mpangilio au community health volunteers wanakuanga na manyumba yenye huwa wanaenda. Kwa hivyo wakikuja kwa nyumba na wametrainiwa, wataonyesha afya officers wetu wa afya, the public health officers and the community health assistant, wanawascreen kwa manyumba. After siku 4 tunakuwa na kitu tunaita outreach kwenye madaktari wetu wanaangaliwa kama unahitaji miwani, kama unahitaji dawa, kama unataka further treatment, wanakuwa referred kwa level 4 ama level 5 hospital zetu.
Services. Malo Nalando, Lookup TV.
Fights through the streets of
All right, now this is Look Up TV Weekend. Let's cross over to Matter Sports. And of course, Kenya's Cheptil Boys High School on Friday saved face for the country as the curtains fell on the Federation of East Africa Secondary School Sports